everyone, welcome to the 2025 Genesis GV80 Coupe with the e-Supercharged engine making around 409-ish horsepower here. So we have the upgraded engine here. This is a gorgeous interior, gorgeous paint finish, and a gorgeous vehicle. Definitely go check out our full tour and review to have a look at that. But we're going to take this on a drive today. We have an 8-speed automatic gearbox, all-wheel drive with a rear-wheel drive bias here. We have plenty of drive modes to select from as well as a Sport Plus for this e-Supercharged engine, which has traction control turned off, and it takes full advantage of that rear ELSD. And we also have plenty of fun cameras to view around this Genesis, so you're never going to have an issue parking whatsoever, I can tell you that. And it's really comfortable and nice. We have an adaptive road scanning electronic suspension system, 22-inch wheels on this particular one, and this funky glowing drive select knob right here, which actually is quite nice to use in reality. So we're going to head off here. We don't have rear wheel steering or anything like that, but this ELSD does some sort of like torque vectoring where it honestly feels like it has rear wheel steering to me, which is quite cool. But heading off is quite nice in this Genesis GV80 Coupe. Steering is very light, I will say that, though it does get stiffer in Sport Plus, and you can also make it stiffer in your My Mode selection, though it's not a quick steering rack. It's more of an artificially weighted steering in that sort of sense. But off the bat, this is an incredibly luxurious comfort vehicle on this all-new GV80 Coupe here. And even with this upgraded engine, it's still a luxury focused vehicle. And it's more of a luxury utility vehicle versus a sport utility vehicle in the sense that it has that power, it has all of the nice elements around you that are dynamic, though it doesn't hurt you on the road. It's incredibly soft, comfortable suspension. It's also an incredibly well damped suspension as well. Acceleration from a start is super smooth with this 48-volt system. It starts up instantly. It doesn't even sound like it has a traditional starter whatsoever. It just starts up with this 48-volt motor, which is quite nice. Coming around a corner here, it feels like it has a rear wheel steering in that sense, but it doesn't. Just good rear ELSD. It also has the ability to coast, which you can actually disable in the infotainment system. So when you are in eco mode or in the My Mode with the eco drivetrain, it goes below 1,000 RPM. It doesn't shut off while you're driving, though it is aimed at trying to help you improve fuel economy just a little bit. Now we also have some pumped in audio sound for this engine as well, which is quite nice. So let's have a little bit of a test of that right here. Very low grunting sound from this engine. It almost sounds like a low revving high horsepower V8 in that sense, not typically a V6 sound. It's interesting because it doesn't sound particularly special, but it is quite powerful, especially with that e-boost from this electronic supercharger here. I love these cameras for your blinkers that Hyundai, Genesis, and Kia all do. This thing scurries up to life really quickly. Downshifts very aggressively in the Sport Plus mode. Steering weights up quite a lot. Shifts get quicker, and the throttle response is also more responsive in Sport Plus. And again, you can only get the Sport Plus mode in this e-Supercharged variant of the GV80 Coupe. So definitely quite fun. Going around a corner, you can feel the rear end kick out as well, but all of that is a little bit hampered by a few things, especially this steering right here. I didn't really get it when I first got in this vehicle, but once you start driving this thing, it's just unusual. If you've ever driven a GV80, it's a very comfortable SUV. It has very light steering, light inputs, and that's what makes it so luxurious and well revered by a lot of people. So you would expect Genesis to kind of add in a more quicker steering rack for this model, but it feels like they really just added a lot of artificial heft. But nonetheless, this powertrain is incredibly torquey. It is so quiet in here, I can kind of hear myself think most of the time. We also have acoustic canceling noise microphones throughout this interior to kind of help cancel out sounds. Really nice, comfortable in here. And this suspension, like I said, is really top notch for this class. It just soaks up bumps. It can see if there's like a pothole or road imperfections up ahead, and it automatically adjusts those dampers for you, which is really impressive as well. So that I think is one of the best features of this vehicle, is how it drives on the road. And when you're not really going into corners with this Genesis GV80 Coupe here, the steering is just quite nice. It's just very supple, very easy to turn around. Now out here on the highway, I think the GV80 Coupe's real fun thing is that it's incredibly comfortable on the highway. It's really, really quiet. One of the best, I think, highway cruisers. I would love to take this car on a road trip. And another great thing about this vehicle is that we have the incredible Highway Driving Assist 2 feature, and literally all I do is press my radar cruise control button on, and it's on. You can turn on and off lane keeping and steering assist. It changes lanes for you. You do have to keep your finger on the touch sensitive steering wheel, so I'm just gonna put it, I don't know, here, and then I can press the indicator and it will change lanes for me. So all I do is this. It knows my hand is still on the wheel, I think. No, it doesn't. Keep hands on the wheel. I'm not actually doing this, guys, and it works on a curve, as you're seeing right here. So it fully changes lanes. We have a really cool animation and a heads-up display here. This is a great highway car, guys, and like I said, you can adjust your distance pretty easily. You have 4 distances to choose from, and when you're using my mode with the eco mode setting attached to the engine, or eco mode, it starts coasting on the highway. So let's say if I turn off, let's see, our radar cruise control for a second, just so I can demonstrate this. You'll actually watch the revs drop below 1000 RPM. That means it's coasting. You can actually turn that off if you don't like it. I just would keep it on because you're never going to notice it, honestly, and all it does is decouple the transmission from the drivetrain to coast the vehicle to get you better MPG, which you might want in this car because it isn't the greatest on MPG, but it coasts really well. So I'm just going to get up to speed here for a second and literally let off the throttle, and you'll just see it just coasts in a straight line, and it pretty much maintains its speed really, really well. That's the big thing about coasting. I've only really seen this in German vehicles, honestly, that they're able to coast so well. So it's decoupling the transmission right now, and we're coasting. We're maintaining our speed. I'm literally no foot on the gas whatsoever. We are going a little uphill, so you can see a speed decrease, but coasts really, really well. So that's how you're gonna get a little bit better MPG. Otherwise, you know, if you leave it on your Highway Driving Assistant, which works on main highways, it will actually do that kind of coasting situation. If it detects a vehicle in front of you and you're going downhill and it thinks it's safe enough to do that coasting, it will do that. It's intelligent in that sense, but yeah, Waze on your full cluster, so you don't even have to use Apple CarPlay or Apple Maps, for example. That will also display up here. I just think that's really cool, Genesis, and I love the really high clarity of this rear digital view mirror. I think that's really, really fantastic here. And of course, you can just use the Genesis systems. I can turn on my mood curator while I'm on a nice long trip, have it play some fun sounds for me. Let's see what we have in our mood curator. Let's do a Vitality for a second. I'll start our Vitality. It's going to change the ambient lighting, the perfume, the ambiance in here. It's a whole experience. I'll turn up the sound for you guys, make sure I stay relaxed, and it will give me a massage in some of the settings on my driver's seat here with the ergo motion. Now we also do have paddle shifters on this GV80 Coupe with this upgraded engine. Let's see how their responsiveness. Second gear. Not too bad actually on the upshifts. They aren't the quickest shifts. There's a little bit of a delay, I would say, in the upshift. Downshifts are pretty good though. Yeah, I know, it's just the V6 powertrain at the end of the day. And yes, it has those essentially 3 different boosted functions coming into this powertrain, but it kind of lacks that special feeling you might get out of a twin turbo V8 out of some of the competition, or a twin turbo or turbo inline 6 that has just a little bit more of a special sounding nature to it. So I think Genesis is doing a great first step into this more higher end performance luxury class with this unique powertrain for them in their own vehicle lineup. We know there's a lot more stuff coming for them, but I think as a first attempt at making a little bit more of a powerful, a little bit more athletic version of a vehicle, I think this is good. You can see it's shutting off right now as we come to a stop, so great auto stop start functionality. We have brake auto hold, and it instantly comes into life. There's no starter sound, there's no vibrations or anything. It just instantly comes to life thanks to that 48 volt e-Supercharged system that we have on this vehicle. This has been a great week with the Genesis GV80 Coupe. You know, I'm leaving it feeling how I was feeling going into it, in the sense of I was going into it with the expectation that it was not going to be this really dynamic, taut, high performance luxury SUV coupe, but it's not like that. It's a luxury SUV with that dash of athleticism in its design, in its interior design, but it's really a luxury focused vehicle, all in and all out, and that's what this thing excels at. And you know, if you want to stand out from this crowd of luxury coupe SUVs and you want to have something that really turns heads, looks totally different, while also offering an incredibly high quality interior, a fantastic ride, this Genesis GV80 Coupe is definitely for you. Is it cheap? No. It's kind of losing that Genesis value perspective just a little bit. It's not cheap. This is an $88,000 SUV, right smack in the area, right in between, you know, like a base Q8 and an upgraded Q8, like an SQ8. It's kind of in between like a lot of these vehicles in that sense with this upgraded engine here. So it's definitely a unique positioning in the market, this vehicle, but for Genesis buyers, it's new. It's something unique for the segment. It's not necessarily new, but it's a new option. I think a lot of these unique targeted buyers have, and I would not look away from it. Just, you know, if you're going into this vehicle thinking it's going to be like this an X6 competitor in the sense of its athletic ability, it's not. It's simply not. There's a lot of body movements and swaying, but in that sense it uses those movements in a sort of a floating luxury sense. It has good body control in some areas, just it's not a tight chassis that I was kind of expecting out of a more athletic focused vehicle. But this is a new space, I think, for Genesis, and they're really learning and finding their footing. This is a great first attempt into like this more performance or athletic oriented vehicle segment, and especially for their SUVs. So I give them good props in that sense, but I'm definitely excited to see what's to come. Thank you guys for joining me on yet another video over at Allcarnews, and as always, stay tuned for more coming soon. Cheers.